If you've been touched by picky eating in your life, trust me, you know how it feels. It has a way of driving even the most patient parent completely crazy. You go into parenting thinking my kids will eat this wonderful slew of organic, homemade amazingness, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, meats, everything. A little bit of candy here and there, a little bit of treats, but they won't be eating an all brown diet. And then your kid comes along and all they want is the brown foods. They don't want any meats, they don't want any veggies, they only want certain fruits. And you are left wanting to hit your head against the wall. As a childcare provider, a mom of a picky eater, and a wife of a chef who, of course, got dealt the hand of a picky eater when it comes to children, I have found lots of ways to work with picky eating. I've not found one perfect way to solve it, but I'm here today to share a lot of tips that you can try so you feel like you're being proactive and you can stay calm and just trust that over time your kids will eat. They may not be the most well-rounded eaters in the world, but when you put these different tips into practice, they will eat different things. Now, I am not a nutritionist, so if you are dealing with a more extreme picky eater, of course, reach out to your doctor, find the resources you need. But this is just a great video for those of us who deal with children, who are parents, childcare providers, teachers, things of that nature, and we want to help kids learn to try different foods and enjoy different foods. So before I jump into the really helpful tips, my very first tip is just to chill out. I know as a parent, and I am a type A parent, it's so easy to freak out, to put a lot of stress on it, to bribe your kids. If you eat this, then you can have this. If you eat one pea, I'll let you watch a movie. You know, it's so easy to fall into that trap, but that's not really teaching our kids. And the more pressure you put on a child, the more likely they are to not do what you say, especially if they're strong-willed. And a lot of picky eaters are strong-willed. They want control. They want to have a say, and it is their body. So let's try to respect that. Calm down, because the calmer you are, the more likely they are to actually go along with trying new foods. And it has to be their choice. So a lot of these tips go along with that, of it being their choice, because at the end of the day, that's what we really want. We want them to want to eat these foods, and we can't force that. So tip number 2 is to change how you are serving your food. Now, every family serves food differently. Maybe you do it family style already, where you bring all the food to the table and you let the kids scoop it up. Well, a couple nights a week, why don't you try plating it? If you don't do family style, try that once in a while, where you have everything at the table and the kids can serve themselves. This gives them that control that they're looking for, and it's fun, and it's teaching them manners and how to pass food. So it's a win-win-win all across the board. You can also try serving their food on different plates in different ways. Maybe you cut the foods differently. Just find ways to switch it up so it's not always the same exact way you're doing it every day. I love using muffin tins. This is a great thing to do. We do this once a week in my daycare. You could do it once a week for your family, where you put different foods, like smaller portions, in a muffin tin, and it's just super fun, less intimidating, smaller portion sizes, and it just gets them a way to be excited about the food. Maybe you try different foods that look like different things. We have one that looks like a train with the different compartments that are different train cars, which is fun. Maybe you have a special plate that you use for special occasions. Try using silicone muffin liners and the little like animal picks just to make it kind of fun. I don't think you have to make their food look like an animal every day of the week or anything like that, but just, if you use glass plates one day, use paper plates the next day. Just do something to switch it up, make it more fun. And you can even have your kids choose, because they love choosing things. Another great thing is to get them involved in the shopping. When our kids go grocery shopping with us, it is such a learning experience. We see it as something to check off our list, and we just pray they don't have a meltdown or want to buy every toy they see. But it's a great learning experience. They get to see so many foods that you don't usually buy. It's fun once in a while to let them pick something out. Maybe you give them a couple choices between different veggies, and that's going to be what you serve that week. Maybe you go out there and try a random shaped pasta that's striped or something, just to make it more fun and let them see that, they can help choose what you make as well. Give them ownership over it, and as you do this over time, they may surprise you with some other choices. In addition to getting them involved with the shopping, get them involved in the preparing. Now, I do not do this every day. Trust me, I'm just like you. I'm busy, I'm overwhelmed often, and sometimes I just need to focus, get the food on the table, they need to eat it, and just be done with it. But when we have a more slower pace evening, I like to let my kids help. We have kid-safe knives. I offer to let them cut the fruit or the veggies. They can help heat stuff up in the microwave, pour stuff into the pot, mix. They can make toast and stuff like that. Just try handing that over. Not only is this going to help you in the food department with them eating it and trying it more if they actually prepared it, but it's a great life skill. We also want to prepare our kids for the future and be able to cook for themselves once they're 18 and on their own. So why not start when they're little, make it a routine. And if you have older kids, they could actually be in charge of making dinner once a week. I think that's a great thing to do. And you could give them options or they can just pick it. But either way, it's a great way to let them have ownership over their meals. We all know that a great tip for kids is giving them options. You know, if you've ever taken a parenting class or read a parenting book, they often suggest giving children choices so they have control. Kids are so independent from a young age, but we often don't have the time, the energy, or they're not ready to make some of those choices or to do some of the things they want to do. But when we give them choices that we're okay with, either way, whatever option they choose, this gives them that ownership and control, and it's a win-win because you're happy too. Celia, would you like sugar snap peas, corn, or carrots for supper tonight? You pick sugar snap peas?
And maybe a few of these.
Oh, both of them? Okay. So you could let them pick the veggie and maybe give them 2 options. Let them pick the fruit. Maybe they get to pick every Tuesday what entree you're going to make. Just get them involved in the actual choosing of the foods. And this will really help them, and they'll be more likely to eat it if it's not, oh, it's just whatever mom makes every day. No, they got to choose what's going to be on their plate, at least to some degree that night. Another great tip for picky eaters is to use smaller portion sizes. I do this in my daycare a lot, especially because I do have a whole range of likes, dislikes, eating styles, texture, preferences, and stuff like that. So with certain kids who I know are pickier about some foods, I just won't give them as much. Not only am I wasting less, but it's less intimidating to them. I know as a kid, when my mom would make something I don't like, if I came to the table and it was just overpowering my whole plate, I probably would cry too. You know, I would want to see more of the fruit or the thing that I do like on my plate and less of that thing. And I might be more willing to try it if it doesn't seem so overwhelming. So just give them a little bit of that vegetable if they don't really care for it. And it may surprise you. They may eventually try it, but it does take time and repetition. So just keep at it. And like my first tip, just chill out about it. Another great thing to do is to change your wording when it comes to food. If your child says something like, I hate that food or I don't like it, try to rephrase it. Now, don't be overpowering or critique them, but just, add the word yet. Like if they say, I don't like peas, just say, oh, you don't like them yet. Yeah, I hear you. Or if you're talking about foods and instead of saying like, what food do you like? I would say, what's your favorite food on your plate? And if they say, I like this one, I like that one, but I don't like that one, say, oh yeah, I didn't always like foods when I was little, but I like them now. And so it gives them that way of seeing that like we may not like it that day, but eventually we can change our mind. And that's really key. We don't want them to get stuck on, if I don't like it today, I can never like it. We can change our mind. And so just by changing your wording, really pay attention to how you're wording things around food with your kids. It may really surprise you how they change their perception on it as you change your wording. Obviously, the theme here is less stress, more fun, more choices. And so just try to find ways to make it fun. I found this really awesome placemat and guide and whole service that's offered through, it's called Danielle Binns. She is a nutritionist who put this together and I absolutely love it. This isn't sponsored. I bought this with my own money, like at a 10 o'clock at night splurge that I found, and I just love it. So I printed this out. It's a really awesome placemat. And we use this often when we're serving something our older daughter doesn't really care for at the moment. And it's great because it's showing the children that it's not all about taste. Eating is a whole experience of the senses. There's the sight, there's the touch, there's the smell, and there's the taste. And all of it goes together. So you may not like the taste of something, but you might like the smell and like the way it feels and like the way it looks. And so maybe eventually you might like the way it tastes. So it gives kids, I give her a dry erase marker. She gets to say what the size is, the shape, the color, what the texture is like. Does it feel hot or cold? Is it bumpy? Is it slippery? You know, all that kind of stuff. What does it smell like? And then what does it taste like? And she has actually surprised us tasting things that I didn't know she would, or at least like touching it to her tongue or touching it. You know, those are all big steps with picky eaters. If they actually touch it or smell it, that's one step closer to actually trying it. And even if they try it, they may not like it. But over time, you know, we're trying to get them more willing to try new foods. Even if they don't choose to not like it, they can still try it. So this is a really good resource. I will link to it below if you guys are interested, but we've been loving it. And then lastly, a huge part of parenting, as we all know, unfortunately, is modeling. So if we're not eating healthy foods, how can we expect our kids to eat healthy foods? So I don't always eat the exact same thing as my kids. I'm doing Weight Watchers, and I don't always want them to just be eating what I'm eating or only make a certain amount, and especially since I know they probably won't like it. But I do try to incorporate at least some of their meal onto my plate, and I like them to see me eating, you know, greens and salads. So even at daycare, when all the kids are eating, you know, whatever I prepared for them that day, I'm usually eating a salad just filled with greens, and I'll eat a little bit of fruit and stuff like that. I just think it's so important for our kids to see us eating it, because what kid doesn't want to be like their parent when they're little? Kids look up to us so much, even if they're not willing to admit it. So the more they see us eating those things, the more likely they are to try it. But the key is not to rub it in their face. Don't say like, oh, mommy's eating it, you should too. That's going against tip number 1, which is just to chill out. Try not to talk about it much. Try not to put any emphasis on what they eat. Just over time, by your nonverbals and by seeing you, they will slowly pick it up. Now, it's not a guarantee. Nothing in parenting is ever guaranteed. But if you follow these tips over time, I do believe we all will get through this stage. We may not have the most outgoing eaters, but we will have kids who are at least willing to try things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know who the picky eater is in your life and what tips you have. If you go over to our community tab, you can find the thumbnail for this video and comment there. And I would love to see what other tips you guys have. I'm here to help start the conversation for us busy moms and help us work together to really help serve our families and therefore our community and the world. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.